Hello, welcome to Yoga Rocks Box. Welcome back to Yoga Rocks Box because it's been a while. I'm here with Reema Datta. She's been teaching at Yoga Rocks this week. We're going to talk about a little bit about yoga. Reema has a very rich yoga background and it really comes out when she's teaching. It's been totally amazing this week. So I want to talk a little bit about the connection between asana and the psyche and where this kind of comes from traditionally. So your background, so your family's Indian, and were you brought up in India or America?
Well, I was born in America, and by the time I was 8 years old, my parents were done with America. They wanted to move back. They were very homesick and wanted to move back to India, so we all moved back to India, and we lived there just for 3 years. It was supposed to be a permanent move, but it's a long story.
That's okay.
But we moved back, but then in my adult life I went back to India. I lived in Varanasi for a year, and my whole life I've gone back and forth quite a bit. And my grandparents and parents, my grandparents especially are yogis, and my mom. So growing up I was just exposed to mantra and the philosophy, and it was around all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's such an amazing background to have. And when you teach, this really comes over. So when you're teaching, are you drawing on anything particular, or is it really stuff that's just already inside?
There's so much inside, you know. So I'm very influenced by the Gita, and I just grew up with all the stories of the Gita and the Vedas, so it's very much in me. Yeah, I was always drawn to the philosophy most. So I have all these memories growing up with my grandfather teaching me about the Vedas and the Gita, but all in stories or in songs, because my mom is really into singing mantra, and traditionally yoga was taught all through songs, you know, and then there were dances and plays, and so I was always drawn to that. And then asana, actually, the sequences of poses, that came later for me. But since the philosophy was so in me, when I teach or when I do asana, it all comes through.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So people who want to start connecting to this rich history that yoga comes from, but they're just doing asana, and maybe they want to look a little bit about starting to read a bit about the Bhagavad Gita, can you give them a little bit of an overview?
An overview
An overview of what they might find, what they might expect to find if they started reading the Gita, for example.
Yeah, sure. So the Gita, for example, it's all about how we act in the world. And when we start to observe how we act on our yoga mat, it becomes a reflection of how we act in the world. So one of the things they say in the Gita is to just be 100% immersed in the action itself and not to think about the result, which is really hard. Because whenever we do something, we of course, it's natural to think of the result and what am I going to get out of it. But then that takes away from the action itself, you know, from the present moment. So there's all these teachings on how to stay really centered in the present and keep the mind free. We're attached to the result, or the ego is grasping to things looking a certain way. And so it's all these beautiful teachings on how to get the mind flexible and open so that we can really be 100% immersed in the action.
So we've been talking a little bit about the Bhagavad Gita. So what else can people expect to find? And is there other histories that are interesting to think about?
One thing that influences me a lot is if you look at the history of yoga in India, there was the British invasion and then the Mughal invasion. And actually whole universities of library books and schools of yoga were burnt and demolished. And a lot of the teachings that were lost in India were taken to Tibet and preserved in Tibet. So right now what's known as Tibetan Buddhism, or what's known as Tibetan yoga, was actually originally a part of...
Thank
you.
And your husband...
thank you. Thank you.
So So right now what's known as Tibetan Buddhism was actually part of original yoga. So these days there's like Hatha yoga, there's the yogis doing asana, and then there's the people meditating, and they've become separate practices.
Yeah.
But they used to be one practice. So one thing I enjoy bringing when I teach is these like Tibetan Buddhist meditations with the yoga practices, and it makes the practice feel whole. And it's not something new I'm doing, it's just like it's how it used to be before the teaching separated. So I've just really enjoyed bringing those practices
And when
together.
you do it just feels like it should all be one. It's not. The end result is so the same, and the same stuff comes up, the same moments arise in the practices. So.
Yeah, the one thing I find a little bit different, which I enjoy, is like with the Tibetan Buddhists, there's these lineage of yoginis or dakinis, and they brought these teachings like the emotions and the thoughts and how they affect the body. There was a lot of understanding how different emotions and thoughts affect the subtle body, the winds and the knots and the openings. And so bringing those teachings back in and having this like feminine twist and feeling.
It's all so fascinating, and we really hope we'll get another chance to just cover a little bit more of this with Reema another time. But just for now, that'll do. Okay, thank you, Reema.
Thank you for having me.